Hi, my name's Jim Harris. Welcome to my shop. I'm going to be talking today about turning decorative mason jar lids. There's about 6 videos out there that do it, but each one's a little different. What I'm going to be covering today would be ones on what I call utility, which are you can do with soap, piggy banks, toothbrush holders. I don't know if you've ever been to a show and somebody comes up with a legitimate question. Can I put flowers and water in a wooden vase? Not unless you have an insert. And here you can do that with these mason jars. What are mason jars? Well, mason jars were patented in 1858 by John Mason when he did a screw-on lid to a jar, which revolutionized the home preservation of food, which was a difficult problem back then. Of course, the patent's only good for 21 years. In 1879, the Ball brothers and another company called Atlas started making mason jars. There are 2 different sizes. There is a wide mouth, which is a 3.5 inch across, and then there is what they call a standard lid, which is 2.5 inches across. This is called a ring. This is called the lid. What's unique about these lids, they're all standard, whatever company makes them. And what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on the standard. He also made a glass jar lid, which we won't be using. And this was popular back during World War II because they used the rings for metal. This ring will fit a jar going back over 100 years. How do I know that? Because I have the old jars. This particular jar here is a Presto, and they started making square ones because they could fit better on the shelf, but this ring fits right in that jar. This jar here is a ball. This is a blue one. They started making them colors because they decided that maybe the light was with the food in reaction. This particular jar was made between 1910 and 1923, and the ring fits it. Where do you get the jars at? Well, I buy them by the dozen from Walmart, or you could probably buy them from Target. They come in different sizes. This is a pint jar here. This one's a half pint. They got it down to a quarter pint. They go from 1 gallon down to a quarter of a pint, which would be half the size. I wouldn't go and buy them from anywhere like Hobby Lobby or Michael's because not only they're more expensive, I'm not sure they have all the standard lids. But you can go and get, this is a spaghetti sauce. It's in an Atlas jar. Matter of fact, this particular one is the same jar. It has a screw-on lid, and the lid will fit the mason jar. This is a candle. Also has the same lid. Well, you can find these other places. You don't have to buy a dozen if you're not going to do that many. What kind of wood do you use? Well, what I do is I use mahogany, black walnut, red oak. You can use hard maple, any kind of hard wood. One of the earliest ones I did was a yellow pine. It was really pretty. It was yellow and brown, but when I turned it, it smelled like turpentine. And it was the first one I ever sold. What I basically do is I cut a 3.5 to 3/4 inch circle out, and then I do either what you call 5/4, which is 1.5 inches, or you can get away with 1 inch. The problem with 1 inch is it doesn't give you a lot of room. For example, on this one here, I got to go in 3/4 of an inch, so I only have a 1/4 of an inch to do it because you have to put this ring in besides the ring here. How do you attach them? Well, that's a problem because you got to chuck them on either side, and that creates a real problem. And each one of these videos that you'll see on YouTube, somebody's doing it differently. So they have a Forster bit, which is 2 7/8, which is perfect for these. However, the ideal is you're going to chuck one side. You're going to cut the ring into there, and then you're going to either put it on a jam chuck, or as I do, I take my jaws and make an extension. Well, you could do this on a drill press, but if you're going to do that, you better put it on slow, and you better have something like this to hold it down. If not, it's going to spin on you and it can be very dangerous. What other ways can you do it? Well, you can do a glue block. Some people do a glue block, and then you put that in your chuck. You can do a mortise and do put it in the mortise there and do spread it that way. If you have wide jaws, you can put it in wide jaws. You can put a tenon. If you have a block like this, I can do about 6 or 7 out of this one. The way I prefer to do it is to drill a 1/2-inch hole and put a 1/2-inch dowel into it, and then I take another piece of scrap wood or whatever you got. This happened to be a bottle stopper I turned and I couldn't use, and you glue it in there with either Elmer's or Type Bond yellow glue, clamp it overnight, and then what you do is you just put it in there, you turn it, and then you turn it around, flip it around, and then you make a top to it. And you can do it. I would suggest to do a square one. These are 1.5 inches. To do 2 inches, it has to be absolutely flat, and you have to glue all around here, because what happens, you got side grain and you got end grain, and that puts a lot of pressure on it. What I do in these is I do just a piece of scrap wood, because these are going to be for my utility ones, and I'm going to cut this off. This is sacrificial. So once I've drilled it out, I turn it around, I chuck it, I cut that off, and then what I do, if I'm going to make one of these lids, I use a 2-inch drill, go right in through there. And then you can shape it however you want to. You can do any kind of texturing you want. If you have a Wagner, if you have a Sorby, you can put beads on it. I've done that on this one here. You can put rings on it with a wire. You can burn that, and that's all there is to it. And what I'm basically do right now is get it in the round, and I'm going to drill it out and then refine it down even more. Okay. Okay, we're going to check it now. Oops, got a catch. Okay, we'll do some more. Make sure it's still tight there. Oh yeah. Bring it down a little more. Clear room. A slower speed. About when I want it. Just good. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my box scraper to enlarge this, and then I'll reverse it over. this out of the way. Turn the speed up a little. A little more. You want a snug fit. Perfect. Okay. Going to reduce the sides down a little because I don't want it too thick, I don't want it too thin. So. I would like it on a little on the chunkier side. That way it's a little stronger when you reverse chuck it. Sand it now. It's pretty smooth, so you don't have to get into a lot of the grits. So I start off at 120. Maybe the next one, 180. And 220. And then 320. If you want to make any beads on it or anything like that, now would be the time. I go a little rougher. And then what I'm going to do is I'll reshuck it. Bring in my tailpiece. Change this drill bit out. Now, I'm going to round this over and then I'm going to do the handle. Okay. Anyway, there's the lid. All I need to do now is just sand it down and finish it off. When it goes into it, goes in the jar. That's basically all you do. How I'm going to finish is this is black walnut. I'm going to put boiled linseed to pop the color. And then I go over it with this seal coat, sanding sealer. I put about 3 coats on that and burnish it with the 4-0 steel wool. I have been using mahogany oil and wax. I've also used the Beal system. I've used this Renaissance wax. What I'm using now, I really like, is this Axe abrasive paste and the Axe polishing paste. It's kind of the American answer to the English Yorkshire, Sheen, and Hampshire. That's how I finish them. I glue the lid in with, I don't use super glue. What I use is, you can use this E6000, which is an industrial strength glue, and it expands. The only problem with E6000 is it smells very bad. It takes about 2 days for it to get over the smell. What I like using is this tacky glue. You can get the original, or you can get the Fast Grab tacky glue. I like this a lot, and it really holds in there. But you want a tight fit, and you don't have to put the glue around the band, the bottom and the side of the band. That's all you got to do. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching this video.